don't have notes from the last meeting, right?
Not
Or
that I
minutes?
Sandy would have them, if anybody, right?
Right. So we don't have any minutes to review?
I don't believe so. We can check with Colleen. Colleen gets them to put on the website, but I think she gets the same ones that are sent to us from Sandy. I don't think she gets them separately. So.
Okay. So we'll do public input? We have our spot for public input if you guys would like to chime in. Just let us know who you are and where you're from.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Jen Burke here with Joe Rose and Scott Wilson in regards to, or on behalf of Friends of Litchfield Lacrosse. Essentially, we're seeking permission for field utilization for a girls lacrosse clinic that will be sponsored by Friends of Litchfield Lacrosse to try and grow the girls program. So it's targeted for 4th through 8th grade girls, and it'll be a 6-week clinic that'll run 1 hour on Sunday mornings, provided that there's field space available.
Are you looking for a specific field or anything?
We're not picky.
I think talent, I live right there, talent doesn't look like it get used early Sunday mornings because games are on Saturdays. And on Sunday mornings, lacrosse has games going over at Sawmill, and you don't want the kids getting hit or anything being near the kids. So we're not looking, we're just gonna be setting up cones and doing small drills. So.
In June, wouldn't there be softball out there?
Well, not on Sundays.
Not on
Well,
Sunday?
rec softball doesn't happen on Sundays. The only thing that might be a factor in that is, well, in June should be fine. There's usually 2 softball tournaments that Litchfield softball puts on, but one would typically be in early spring, and then the other one not till August,
Yeah.
first week of August.
Yeah, exactly.
So that shouldn't be a factor. So.
Wouldn't it be easier to just offer up Sawmill because
Well, I think you were saying.
This is Sawmill with Litchfield across the youth. I'm the president of the youth program. We have game day Sunday, so we have Sawmill from 8 in the morning until 5 at night. I think Sunday mornings work well over there, and if there is a conflict down the road, we can just look at shifting things around.
I was only thinking Sawmill because it's big enough. There's always space somewhere.
There is. I mean, sometimes there's soccer going on, there's other games and stuff, but there is also the practice field. But we just, with all the people going back and forth, it might work. It just depends on how many.
What were the dates?
So it would start the first Sunday in May. It would skip Memorial Day weekend and would go the first 2 Sundays in June. So I can give you the exact dates. Hold on.
Basically, the high school girls would be the ones running the clinic with Sawmills.
Okay. Do you remember when the jamboree was last year?
Now, did you try and get the high school field, or is that not available?
We didn't.
They're really tough on letting people use the fields other than for our high school games.
It's not really a high school sponsored program.
Right, but I mean, it's supporting the girls' high school lacrosse team.
Well, it's
Both.
that rec and high school it's going to be supporting because 4th to 8th grade, and the money's going to be going
Right,
towards the
it's a
program.
fun, you can look at it as a fundraiser for them.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's why we did it this way through the Friends of Litchfield Lacrosse rather than the youth, because if we gave it to them, that's to be able to raise some money.
right.
May 18th.
May 18th, yeah, 2 to 4.
So that would be, if that first tournament for softball would be most likely mid-May. So there would be one week in there that might be an issue.
Yeah, so we could totally work. So would that be like like Memorial Day weekend or the weekend before?
A couple weekends before, I think, if it's the same timeline.
Yeah, I would say something, I will probably be organizing most of that, so I can kind of target a date, but probably around the weekend of the 16th.
Okay. So, I mean, we can totally work around that, and so we could do the 3rd, the 10th, we'd probably skip the 24th, then do the 31st, and then go into June, the 7th, 14th, and 21st.
Yeah,
And what were the times?
So we haven't decided on a time, we're pretty flexible.
5 AM.
So,
10
my
a.m. to
daughter's a
11.
sophomore, she's gonna be one of the lead people on this, so she would say 10 a.m.
Okay, I saw 10 a.m. on the form.
Yes, but if that's, if that's a conflict, but we're flexible, so
And so 10 to about, I mean, how long?
10 to 11, 1 hour time.
Oh, just 1 hour, okay.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, because the only other thing that might happen on Sundays, if you have rainouts or softball, but that wouldn't be until the afternoon on Sundays. For
Did
like,
we ever?
We never even do
Never
it.
make
Well, you makeups on Friday nights or
Yeah.
double headed on
Sometimes,
Saturday.
sometimes they do it in place of practice nights in the week.
because I know every year that Litchfield softball reserves wants the fields on Sunday afternoons for makeup for any washouts on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, Sunday afternoons, sometimes guys schedule like an extra practice or something, but not, there's usually no
It's
makeup
only an hour,
games.
so that's not a big deal.
Right, so
It could even be, 9 o'clock. I mean,
Right.
10 o'clock was just a number we.
Yeah, and if it did, it would be the afternoon, so that wouldn't be an issue.
So that's, yeah. Would you prefer 9 or 10? Does it matter?
I mean, 10 would be the preference, if
Better.
we could do it. Yeah.
We good here? I make a motion that we grant field usage to Friends of Litchfield Lacrosse for a girls lacrosse program through the month of May and June, dates as specified, starting at 10 a.m., going for 1 hour.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
The only thing, do we need to check with Sawmill for this, say the 16th, or?
We're good with working
You're
around
good?
those
Okay.
dates. Yep.
Okay.
Is Brickyard an option for you?
Brickyard's totally an option, so we could move it to Brickyard that weekend if necessary. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the other thing I meant to ask is, as far as the field, nothing needs to be lined or, I mean,
No, we're just gonna use the cones, it's
just
just drills.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Really basic introduction.
Right.
Softball players welcome that way.
Okay.
Any further
Get him more
discussion?
exercise.
Yep. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstained?
How are the signups going? I know
Carries.
you're making a big push for the girls lacrosse. How is that going this year?
For the youth program, we didn't have enough field in the teams. That's part of the reason we're trying to do this. We had, I think, 4 girls sign up. We were told we had a lot of interest, but they didn't come out to register. So we're hoping that with this, we can generate some more interest. A lot of people were timid about paying for registration fees, and they didn't know if their daughters would want to actually continue on, if they were gonna like it or not.
Mhm.
So hopefully this will help us get past that.
Now, is the gear I know it's a $60 fee. Is the gear provided, or?
There's some.
We have a lot of, we got a grant from US Lacrosse with the school for the girls, and we have a lot of sticks and rounds that were provided. We're just waiting for the year to start up to see what we have for participation, and any extra gear we have, the girls will be using. It's part of our grant that we have to use.
Okay, so they only have to pay a $60 entry fee and that's it. They don't have to go get anything.
No,
No, we should have enough sticks. I mean, depending on how many people sign up though. I mean, if we have 50 kids sign up, then you don't have 50 sticks.
Yeah.
So,
it's good to get past that one.
yeah.
That's right. Good problem to have.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's it.
Thank you
Anything
very
else?
much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
See you really early.
Yes, bright and early.
All right, so any other public input? No.
Well, not public input, no.
Okay. What's our next, old, or what do we normally do next?
Well, one item, I don't know if we want to bring it up.
Field request, but that was the only one we had, right?
Yeah, it was the only
Do we have
thing.
any other
Yeah.
email requests?
Nope, nope. The other thing we were talking about, and this kind of goes along with Winterfest, but it obviously will be year-round, will be extending the Wi-Fi to the pavilion area. Yes, technically, hey Russ, throughout all of the Dara Pond area, the field. So we wanted to get it set up, extended to the pavilion. We talked to John Brunel, but it's not doable in the time frame for Winterfest. But he did say it is doable. It's just the cost is $2,000 if it's something we want to look into. So.
People use that data.
Well, yeah, I think when I talked to John about it last year, we did it for Winterfest last year, but we did a shorter range. You know, we had it, so we had the field area, but only, within maybe, 150 feet of Town Hall, 100 feet.
Yeah, and it
maybe.
wasn't
And
wasn't very
it was
strong.
spotty.
Yeah.
So he had mentioned at the time there would be an option to put it out there, so we looked into it. But at $2,000 for I think it's great for when we do events like Winterfest, or we do different fundraising things over there. It's great for that stuff to have it because we use the credit card readers on the on phones or iPads and that kind of stuff. But at that cost, I don't know that it's worthwhile to do it. And if it's something that we wanted to do, I'd probably be.
Well, I guess
it would probably be a next year item and that we try to include it within the budget.
Yeah, I was thinking more, is this something that we could go along and just increase our security for that area? What else could we get for extending the Wi-Fi? What other security technology could we invest in? And that's encompassed with that $2,000. I'm wondering if there's something else that John could do for us, bundle in some sort of package.
Well, he's the best guy to ask.
He is, and he's looking into it, and he says it's doable. He CC'd Jason Hoke on it, saying it was $2,000. And if it's something that we want to pursue, say, when the budget is near the end of the year, and what do we have left over? What can we do with maybe Wi-Fi and security for that area?
I mean, the other thing we can look at too is any event, we've talked about letting ASA or other softball tournaments happen
Rent the
down there.
fields.
And just start saying, if we know it's $2,000 and say, our goal is every time there's a tournament or something down there, we're gonna try and get raise $200. And as soon as we get to the 2,000, it basically pays for it. That way it's.
Do we charge anybody anything for those tournaments?
We don't. How do
What
we
did we do
how do
last
we
year
do
with
that
Hudson?
though? When we take in that revenue for charging someone to use a field or a
It can go into the
facility,
revolving fund.
we can go straight to the revolving fund.
I'm pretty sure you can go in the revolving fund, but we would have to definitely consult with Jason on that
Okay.
before we.
Especially if we earmarked it saying, look, this is what we're trying to do.
Now Hudson held a tournament last year. Did we charge them?
No.
No, they waived the entry fee for
Yeah.
Litchfield.
Which Litchfield ended up being in another tournament because they won something else, so they got to advance to another tournament, so they weren't even there anyway, so it
Okay.
didn't matter. But that was their offer, was they said, we'll waive that fee for
Yeah.
the Litchfield teams.
What's the fee?
It's a few $100 probably.
Yeah.
300 or
350,
400.
350, something like that, yeah. So I realized $2,000 sounds awfully steep for Wi-Fi, and I'll talk to John and see if there's anything else that can be done.
And I assume we're gonna have to pay more, we'd have to increase our service there, because if we extend the range.
Probably not. It's probably just a different type of system.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we talked about upgrading the entire system in general, including the security cameras, and some of that might be something we do all.
That would probably be the best, because I know that we've talked about that before.
Well, for $2,000.
It's just like down here at Sawmill. We talked about the same thing with a wireless camera.
Yeah.
It would be set up the same way, so.
I think for the first thing I think technology-wise that we need to invest in the parks is ADTs. Get them down there, I mean, I know we have the talent, but if somebody,
Do we have any money left over in the budget to just purchase it this spring?
I don't think so, because you're talking $2,500, you have to get the unit, you have to get a station that can withstand the extreme heat in the summer. cold really won't be an issue because we'd take it out in the winter because it's not really being used. I mean, you'd use it during Winterfest, but we'd put it probably in the heated tent, or you'd have talent open anyway. But,
Yeah, we've definitely talked about that for a couple of years now.
yeah. So I think that would be better than Wi-Fi at this point, but. All right, we've got baseball. You here to represent baseball, I take it, Russ? Okay. All set?
Ready, set, go.
Sorry for being tardy.
It's all right, we already voted no on it.
Perfect
so-
timing.
I'm here to convince you to. So I am asking for time to speak to the board to request that the Litchfield Baseball Association is covered over under the recreational insurance. Using the right terminology. Ultimately, currently register our organization through the Cal Ripken organization, so we have a charter that we pay for them, but they also offer us insurance, and historically, we've always just paid for their insurance. Really for no reasons that I can uncover, other than just that's the way we've always done it. And so I understood that the town has an insurance policy that covers recreational programs like ours, and the opportunity to be covered under that blanket policy is something that I'd like to explore. And so when I met, or when I came to a meeting, it was probably almost 3 months ago at this point, they identified the fact that if I brought forth certain documentation, that request would be considered. So I brought with me printout copies, and these are very informal. I can create, formal documentation on letterhead or whatever you require. But my understanding was to bring forth the following documentation, which I have: historic registration numbers for the last 4 years for our groups, a sample or a budget, estimated budget for this year, which I have, the list of the board members, and then so I've got 2 copies of each of those, and then our bylaws, which have been ratified but not have yet been voted upon. The reason being is that I want to present them to you to see if any changes were required as part of this process. And really the only change that has been made to these since 2010 was the addition, per your recommendation, this group's recommendation of a section, an article, which is I believe Article 9, that speaks to background checks in our process in doing so. And so basically what we defined is the requirement of all board members to have a background check, as well as all managers, team managers. We defined who would conduct the checks, any, I guess I would say, events that would cause a coach to be disqualified, a way that people can appeal a response or a negative, I guess, background check response. And then a statement that anybody that has a background or an event that qualifies in between background checks, and we state that background checks are good for 2 years, in between those events notifies. So that's really the only change that has not yet been voted upon. But I don't have one copy of the bylaws just because there are 10 pages and trying to do my part to save trees, right? So I present to you this documentation and the request to be considered for protection under your insurance. So I can drop this off.
You up to the left, yeah.
Protection.
Right, yeah, protection from your. We have never in my in any history that I could uncover, and certainly in the 8 years I've been associated with the organization, have ever applied for any kind of insurance coverage or any event that had caused us to. So there's our budget. I'll keep a copy so I can speak to it if you have questions. Here's our board, and this is our historic registration.
So this would, if it's approved, so basically you'd become, it's technically considered a subcommittee, right? Of the rec commission? Like each organization is technically a subcommittee?
Years ago, I read through this, our rules and procedures. It's a little more the way it's written in there, it's a little more involved than the way we have always handled it. We just kind of invite them in, and we have a small amount of oversight in just kind of seeing what they do and just basically saying, yeah, we approve of what you're doing, and we're gonna allow that to happen. The way it's written in the rules and procedures, we're supposed to have a little bit of control over their fund, they're supposed to present a budget to us each year, and
Right.
we don't follow that, but, so it's, I guess if we continue with the status quo, then basically we approve what he's offering us here, and we say, yeah, everything looks good, and we kind of bring that in.
Right. 'Cause
I think
technically we're
we've
supposed to-
also kind of assigned like a liaison
Right.
in the past too.
Right. So, what's happened is in the past, a lot of people have been afraid to come on to the insurance plan because technically the Recreation Commission can empower them and enforce them to use their budget in different ways. So that's never happened.
And we can also basically nix any board members or take.
Exactly, but on the same token, they can back out at any time they want as well. So that's the thing that needed to be clarified to a lot of people, understand that it is a cost savings to go on here, and it is.
So my understanding, there's no additional cost to the town to add an organization like this under the
The insurance
right?
should be notified that baseball is coming under it, and
All the
If-
same kids, yeah.
if there's a cost increase, it'll be very incremental.
Now, how would it work when you do the fall ball with Hudson? How is that handled?
Everybody registers through Hudson, through their program. We really have no affiliation with that other than directly toward that program. So I mean, we were.
So that's
focused on just-
technically them, not you.
That is absolutely them. Yeah, and anybody outside this age group that I've identified through 12 years old is again through an organization that's outside of ours. So we're really just doing a Litchfield youth from basically 5 to 12 years old. And I had done some research, Steve, and I'd like to acknowledge the help that you gave me, but the information, and so I didn't just kind of get a little beating of the drums and this is what you need. We had kind of gone through and looked at the paperwork that we found. And ultimately, everything that it spoke about it, that the rec commission had the rights to put a person on or assign a person to each one of our meetings. I fit some of the other details, and I have that electronically probably. We were fine with all that. Basically, with the tenants, again, if we don't like what you impose, we can go get our own insurance next year and back out of this relationship. So we didn't find it was binding. We found nothing egregious in the statements that the town had made as far as our requirements to meet. So we're okay with that. Certainly, our meetings are every second Wednesday of the month. We post that. We have them at the Campbell High School. They're open to everybody. There's actually tenants in our bylaws that allows non-board members to bring up articles, to make votes, things like that. So certainly we consider ourselves a transparent organization, and we welcome whatever participation you guys want to engage in within reason.
And yes, typically the Recreation Commission in the past has appointed someone to be the supporter of the group, and I volunteer that to be me, 'cause I'm on their board anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Convenient. Yeah.
And I think something that we need to bring up that we've talked about time and time again, just looking at your budget, made me think about it again. The electricity, dumpster, all that stuff. I think we need to just look at, instead of doing it piecemeal here, there, soccer does one thing, baseball does another. I think we need to look at it and say, how is this handled?
Yeah, I agree. More of a blanket
And wasn't
policy,
Kevin
right?
looking into something about the dumpsters at least?
He did. He was trying to, even though we were paying for them separately, he was trying to get them all under the same contract, so we get a better rate on locations, rather than everybody paying for their own thing and having it, on a separate plan, so.
Did anything come of that? Do you know?
We actually had the lowest rate, so all the other organizations got the rate that we had, not, for any reason but we had just at lowest rate established with them, and so they offered all the other organizations the same rate. Kevin did help facilitate some of that, and he was great, but ultimately we still paid directly to them, and so really nothing changed, and that was good for us because we had control of call and order it and cancel it on our And we're, that isn't in our budget. If you guys wanna take that on, that's fine. At the end of the day, that's our, that's the facility we use, so I don't mind paying for the dumpster there or the porta potty there.
So we all
Um,
the organizations then have the same dumpster pickup
Well, yeah, it's all the
at this
same.
point now?
Yeah,
Sounds like?
actually, it was the porta potties that he. that
Oh,
Kevin
days.
had-
Okay,
Yeah,
days.
that he coordinated a single kind of, I guess, group rate.
Okay.
We
days.
still have our own individual relationship, but group rate, if you
Yeah.
will. And the dumpster, we looked into some other options, the dumpster, they have the flexible bags that you can order, and maybe people throwing everything into their car and bringing it to the school or the town. At the end of the day, it was only, it was, I think $500 or $600, and so it made sense just to keep that in place.
So you have your own dumpster over there?
We have a dumpster, right, that I guess, it's our own dumpster, right? There's only a baseball facility there,
Right.
it's the corner road.
Yep.
So there's some town stuff that ends up in there, some
Yeah,
local
it's like
residents or
what
whatever,
they-
but that's fine.
Everywhere
Yeah,
else,
it is.
yeah.
And then the porta potties, this year actually, I had reached out to the soccer guys and we were great. We only got one at GMS instead of us paying for one for a few months and then paying for one for a few months and having overlap. It didn't make sense, so they were really good. So we worked out, we tried to work with the town, the other rec groups. But ultimately, what I don't have on here is that our insurance last year was $2,000. And so that's a line item that's not on this. And so what then I have done is that I've increased a little bit of this for equipment. We hope to get we've got very old helmets and stuff these kids have been playing with for 5 years. They haven't bought anything new. So I increased the budget here, and we also then increased a donation for Riviera University, who are now putting on 12 clinics for our kids. So we kind of informally, I made an agreement with them that we would give them a donation, and I saw through our board and get this approved. But they're going to put on literally 12 clinics, 3 Sundays in a row, 4 one-hour clinics for kids from ages 4 through 12, pitchers and catchers, all kinds of stuff. And they're beautiful. They got the Muldoon University, the Muldoon Center in Riviera. It's beautiful. It's got a brand new floor. It's very, very large. And so they've got the entire baseball organization, which are a bunch of kids who've been playing baseball their whole lives, as well as kids that are in college to be teachers, right? Some of these kids are educational. And so they've kind of partnered with us to get, a recommendation, whatever else I can give us beyond this donation. But are going to hold 12 clinics for us, so I'm real excited about that. We haven't done anything like that in our history. So literally, so I'm real excited about that. And that's the only reason we can afford to kind of even offer these guys up is because we made the assumption we're going to be able to save the money in the insurance.
So it's a $900 donation, but there's no fee other than that?
Nope, there's going to be no, we're going to ask for, we're going to have a camp, a donation fee that any parents want to give above and beyond, but we will not require anything from any of our people. Which is preseason, we're talking the next 3 consecutive weekends, which is unheard of in Litchfield baseball. We've never done anything in the winter. So I'm real excited, we've got some motivated college kids that are going to be almost one-on-one. Because if you look at the age group, you get almost 40 kids per age group. I expect 20 kids, half of each age group will show up to these clinics, and they got 22 kids on the roster, 13 that play, and then they got backups. So we're gonna have almost one-on-one. So that's what the money that I'm saving here is gonna go towards, basically, is funding something like that.
And you mentioned your background checks, Russ. Do you conduct them yourselves? Or
We
you
outsource
go-
that.
You go to this, whatever you call it.
Sports sign-up is and they're part of our registration process for our kids, and then there's a link right there that I make every coach go to, every board member. It's nice, it's easy. We don't collect any information. We don't really get any information unless there's an egregious event in the person's history. And they'll tell us what that specific event is, and we can respond to that. But otherwise, they basically just give us, coaches clear, right? And I've been doing that. When I came on board, we didn't have anything like that. And so the first year I said, Jesus, I want to make sure that I'm protected here as a board member and make sure we're doing the best thing for our community. And so we started doing that, and so it's been, I guess, 3 years, maybe 4 years we've been doing that. We haven't ever gotten anything at all.
And they're what, like 60, $45 or something?
I think it's about $22.
But I thought it was, I know baseball and basketball just did it this year, and it was a good chunk, but it was good for 2 years.
Yeah, we paid about $22 and it is good for 2 years. And we may get a better rate because, I hammered these guys, there's a lot of people out there that do it. So I kind of, I said, yeah, do the bet, you know what I mean? So I spent hours on the phone trying to get my rate down, because they were originally like, I remember them, some people wanted $100. I mean, this is insane. So this organization, they do get money from us from the registration, so ultimately, and they do a full background check. These are national accredited organizations, and they're looking for not just, because I could do it through the police guy here and just almost for free, but he's not going to do national, he doesn't have the ability to do as much national checks. He kind of says, what happened in here in Litchfield? And that doesn't make me feel so good. So we paid the money for this company that's basically, they're a credit reporting company, and they're registered in that industry.
I think we need to link, because if these background checks are good for 2 years, and I'm sure that there's coaches that we did in basketball, that you did in baseball, and.
Yeah, we need a data.
Yeah, we do.
I use my baseball one for soccer.
And they are good for,
But it
good
is
for whatever
you sign up,
chooses.
as long as it's the same company. You sign up with them and you put in your username and you log in, and then your information comes up and you just forward that to the other league.
So you as the individual.
Right, so basketball must have used a different, yeah, I'll
'Cause
find out who they use.
Softball uses sports sign up too, but they're not for background checks, right?
Just as the
That's
website.
Website,
Registration.
yeah, for everything.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know who does the background checks.
But being that those three leagues all use that site, it's worthwhile to have that database of people, or, I guess in that case, you don't even need the database, you just say, hey, if you've had it done, just forward it to us, so you don't have to get it done again, but.
My desire is hopefully next year is to create, find somebody within our organization who does websites and get rid of this line item for sports sign up. Because you can truly do that yourselves. Like Oris is a gentleman in town who's done a lot of work for lacrosse, I think, and he's created.
Basketball has their
Basketball
own.
just got a new one, right?
Yeah, who
That's
does that
working
one?
well.
An
No, Scott Taylor.
I think he works at Oris and Ben as well. So yeah, I endeavor to have something like that to eliminate that fee as well, and then have more money come back into our organization. Maybe get new helmets next year or whatever. And certainly, now I have a wish list. I think part of the discussion was for me to bring a wish list, and I'm sorry I'm not prepared with that today, of things that we'd like to see if I had, money wasn't an object, things we would like to see in our town for our community. And I have that as well. And Jeff Lane's kind of the things I'd like to see worked on. We're more than willing to be back as well to the organization. So if you need anything from us, please ask. I appreciate the chance to at least come up and ask to be part of this program.
So now how do we do this, Steve? Do we just take the,
Ask him.
is it a vote? I mean, is
Yeah, I
it,
think it's just a vote
just
to
a vote?
accept them under the umbrella of the rec.
Should we review the info that John is sending and have them do it at the next meeting? Because you're not,
I believe you need to soon.
oh, that's right.
I am in a situation, thank you, Steve, where because of the storm, this is kind of my backup date. I have an event at the Muldoon Center where I'd like to have an insurance policy in place because I have kids that are going to be. Now, Riviera College also has an insurance policy as well. So, and I can also buy a short-term rider. So if this is a situation where you're not ready in the next, ultimately by, I say Sunday, when I have my next event, I do have other options.
Being that this it's not binding for either party, I think with a quorum here, I think we can have a vote, and if anyone has any objections, John, Sandy, or anything we see that we have questions about, we can look at it again at the next meeting.
so what do you mean this is not binding? We're gonna vote on it.
We're gonna vote on it, but they can back out anytime they want, and so can we.
Okay, but at what
Oh, we
point does
can't
this
back out
become?
anytime we want. We can't, all of a sudden, it's the second week of the season. By the way, Russ,
Yeah, what time does this become
Goodbye.
binding? When does this go into effect?
Well, I don't think it's a binding relationship at any point for any of them. Right? We don't have a contract with baseball or with wrestling or anybody else
Well, I
that
would
says that
figure-
says that we are required to provide them, just looking at insurance coverage, for instance, that we're required to provide that for any
once
but
they're
we're-
part of our commission, we would have to do something formal to remove them, right?
Yeah, but
A vote.
that would be real easy, because if we found something that wasn't in compliance, you're gonna turn around and say to baseball, hey, this isn't in compliance, this isn't in compliance. You need to get that done ASAP. And then if the next meeting comes and they didn't have it done, yeah, you'd have grounds to remove them.
Right, so I'm gathering, we're going to, say we vote, say this gets approved. At what point do they go under the umbrella of,
Immediately.
immediately? Okay, so upon leaving this meeting tonight, if it's approved, baseball's covered, going to the Muldoon Center this Sunday.
Yep.
And only if and when something does not jive, okay, they would
Right, I would
be,
imagine you'd say, subject to Litchfield baseball meeting all requirements set forth by Litchfield Recreation.
okay, so it's
So-
binding immediately, okay.
Yeah.
Unlike, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it's
So,
immediate.
yeah,
as of
my,
tonight.
my point was that at our next meeting, and John and Sandy, if we have everybody here and somebody has other questions or objections, then we put it up for a second vote. And-
Right. But they're covered is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
They're covered, okay. So I just wanted to know.
Yeah, I mean, full understanding the provision of us meeting all requirements. And so if we miss a requirement today, I think to Keith's point, when we come back at the next meeting and say, to continue this coverage, you need to meet this requirement.
Understood. I guess my
Yeah,
concern was,
right.
something happens at the Muldoon Center or something happens this weekend. I wanted to make sure everyone was covered. Immediately.
Right, so
Yeah.
upon either this meeting or at some point this week, I would need to have that insurance policy number, right, for us to have that formal agreement in place.
I'm not gonna get a number this week. Jason's on vacation.
Well, it doesn't matter, it's the same certificate.
Okay.
And I'm comfortable with not having one in hand
No,
at
you
the end of
can,
the day, as long
you can
as.
talk to Scott Taylor, because he has it on file for basketball. It's the same, and wrestling has the same one. You just need a copy of that, or, but we need to be added, they need to be added on, they're not added on yet.
Nervous about the money aspect of it, I think.
So we'd have to go through,
I'll reach out to Jason, let him know
It's a waste.
what this board decides, and
Okay.
he checks his email, he'll get back to me at
For
some
every
point.
league to do this.
Yeah, they should.
I can
Sure,
rewrite it.
taking that as an RFP if necessary.
So I motion to accept Litchfield Baseball Association under the recreation umbrella.
Second?
all right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just a quick question. Now, does it need to be contingent on the bylaws? You said the bylaws haven't been approved by your board. Does that need to be, is that something that you're requiring to have them set?
Well, they do have bylaws that have been voted on, they just added in, the one thing that added in hasn't been voted on.
Okay. So it's all set if it's not approved yet, or?
I will have that vote, I plan to have that vote tomorrow night, if that
Okay.
helps.
So you had, prior to those changes, you had existing bylaws in
Yes.
place.
Absolutely, yeah. The only change was the addition of the background checks, as a recommendation by you guys to have in place. When we had done the background checks, we didn't have any policy to say, these are the requirements, these are how long it stands, this is the appeals process, so we really just document that, but yeah, so we had it in place. And again, I'll provide to you guys electronically this entire package tomorrow, or I should say Thursday, with the approved bylaws, anticipating those will be approved.
Any other discussion or questions? Having none, all in favor? Aye, opposed, abstained,
I'm gonna stay.
abstained, so it carries 4-0-1. And I was thinking, I was waiting for the vote anyway, even if Sandy and John didn't want it, they'd get outvoted anyways.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they
I
had
think
been,
they'd agree.
they had been looking to do this. So I am going to, are these the new board members, or is this from last year?
Yeah, well, that's this year's, and those were voted in October, so those are good for the entire year.
Okay, so, because technically we're supposed to approve their board members, right? And their budget. So I'll make a motion,
We
or
can
do we
always
want to
do
do
it
that for the
once.
next meeting?
We can always do it once.
What's that?
We don't do it for anybody else.
I know. I think.
Someone
yeah.
actually came with them.
Unless you guys want to review it and do it at the next meeting.
Yeah, I think we can, I mean, if we were gonna review that, we don't have budget numbers, and I don't know that we need to review that, but,
Maybe review the budget and approve the board members, so that, because if we approve the board members, then technically their vote carries. So I'll make a motion to approve the Litchfield Baseball Association board members for 2014-15 as presented by Russ. If you wanna take a look at them if you,
Yeah, no, I'm not.
okay.
I'll just pass germs around, so.
Yeah, and all those board members have been, background checks.
Are there new board members? I mean,
Yes, there's, I believe, one. Yeah, Eric Monaco's and.
oh, yes, I know he's been involved in the past. I
A
didn't know
couple
he wasn't a
positions,
board
yeah.
member in the past.
All right,
Yeah,
we
he
have a
been on
motion, we have a
lacrosse as
second.
well.
He did.
Oh, you did?
He been on the lacrosse board.
Any other discussion? Let's see if there's anybody here I don't like.
Steve Perry looks a little sketchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
Never
about
know
him
what
being a
to
board
We just
member.
voted, we're voting in a gift card too for Winterfest. if that makes sense.
That was my next thing after the vote, was to say
Absolutely.
thank you for
Yeah.
your donation.
Yeah.
No
Very
fundraiser
nice.
coordinator? It's shocking that nobody wants to be the fundraiser coordinator.
Isn't that a committee role?
Softball,
Yeah.
softball doesn't happen this year either.
See the whole committee doing the concession stand. That's nice.
Couple moms and whoever's at the SUV, take a lead, right?
All right, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Abstain. 4-0-1.
All right, well, I appreciate it. I mean, truly, we're gonna really just give this money back to, into the organization to make it better for kids, and I'm really excited about that. Riviera University, those guys go to Florida every year for a tournament, so they're raising money too. So Eric Monaco actually introduced us.
So say he's your
Um,
connection. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was
Diane.
our connection. Yeah, right, she was. And, he did kind of a pilot program with them where during the fall ball, even though we registered in Hudson, we have our own team, and they came out to the practices and the kids loved them. There's a lot, just that level of respect where they're not your dad. These are kids that are old enough to command respect, and they look the part, they play the part. And so, and then they're gonna get from me, a letter of recommendation or commendation, whatever, and then some funds to go to Florida, so it's great for everybody.
Great.
I'm real excited about trying to bring that kind of repeated, consistent message into our organization and start early. I see a lot of these organizations are starting in January. And so I realized, geez, we don't start until March, sometimes April. And so here we are starting.
It's nice having a facility. That's huge.
Right.
That's youth sports now, everything's year round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is no break.
Yeah. As a little rec, rec organization, a small town, it's hard to compete with that. So to get these guys, the gym is beautiful. They have parking there for everybody. In fact, we have barely 15 people in our organization that help every year. They have 22 kids that are going to be going all day for us, so that alone is worth anything that I can give, let alone be able to donate money. So, appreciate you guys making this happen.
How's your early sign-up numbers looking?
We're at about 30, which is pretty good. We opened registrations last week, and usually everybody registers in the end. So, and we usually have about 150, 160 for the year. So when you figure you got 20%, maybe already registered in the first week is good.
And the kids that are gonna attend the program, those 12 sessions, I assume they have to be registered.
You have to be registered, yeah, and that was absolutely, and I printed out, in real time the night before, I'll print out registrations and we'll bring that too, and if you're not registered, then there's gonna be a form that they can fill out and check off, code of conduct and everything in real time and register right there, because I want them on our books.
They wouldn't be covered by the insurance otherwise.
Yeah, no, it's a requirement that I foresaw. Whether it's your insurance or mine, they have to be registered in our program. Great, all right, well, thank you. Again, it's been a pleasure interacting with you guys, and it's nice to kind of expand our relationship, because I don't think that we did enough with our town originally in the organization, so.
Thank you.
Rose, yeah.
Thank
Good.
you.
Thanks, Russ.
Colleen, can I send you the electronic versions of these?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Forward them to the team.
All right.
You want to keep all this?
Yeah.
About together?
Yeah. Just keep it, yeah.
That's.
Let's put it with the-
What's this? Is this yours?
Oh, yeah, that
Oh,
was,
sorry.
that was something that was.
Next one. Oh,
Okay,
okay.
all right, thanks
Thank you.
very much.
Correspondence.
Thanks, Ryan.
Be a correspondence.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, you be there?
Yep.
All right, I guess communications with Ben, or any
Yeah,
other communications?
I've talked to him several times in the last week. He was off the last few days. Does anyone know he was gonna be gone?
No.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he wasn't around. We were working over at the park anyway, so after we had the snow, I tried to at least clear the front entrance. It was only a few inches, but, just clear that. So, per my email, when I saw him over there, and I was trying to use that little snow blower that we had, I saw him using his own, and I said, "This thing's terrible, it doesn't work." And he said, "I know, I've been using this one for 3 years." And actually,
That little one.
this is his second one, because his first one, he hit a cement block
Yeah.
under the snow and destroyed it. So he went and bought a new one and he used that one at the park for us. So that was my reasoning for thinking that we needed to go immediately and get a
Well,
new
the
one.
first year you had the skate rink in that first big snowstorm, I did that with that little snowball.
Yeah, I did it once too. But it works.
You just gotta
Well,
start,
it's
you
not
gotta do the
self-
outside
it's-
first, then push the stuff to the outside, then go from the outside.
It's not self-propelled, and it's got lawnmower wheels on it.
Yeah.
Push lawnmower wheels.
Oh.
And when you're trying to push it on the ice through the snow, you're not going anywhere. So, and it stalls like every 10 minutes, it shuts down.
Oh,
And
really?
you gotta restart it.
The new
And
one
it
looks
starts right
good.
back up, and then it runs for a few minutes and it stalls again. So, I guess we should probably have an official vote on it, I guess, but, we have a new snow blower. And it's probably got about 50 hours on it already, so, in a week. We've done the rink 2 or 3 times, as well as, a lot of other Winterfest area and the entrances, or even for the hall, so. I guess, do we need to vote on that?
Yeah. We need to do an official vote.
Okay. So, I motion that we purchase a new snow blower for Roy Memorial Park.
Second.
Good enough.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
How much did it end up costing?
8:30.
It's just gonna be stored in the shed where it usually is.
And I think we need to hold on to that other one. And, because the one thing I really liked about it is hauling it up on that back deck. And it can blow the stuff off of there, and you don't wanna be trudging a nice big snow blower up
Well,
there.
there was-
Oh, I'm thinking, good.
And there was I can talk to Ben about that, if that's what he wants, if he wants to continue to use that. I don't wanna do that and then not have him use it and have it sit in the
Taking up
shed, not
space,
get
yeah.
used anyway, cause it's limited space in there. There was also a suggestion, they don't have one here, to bring one here to clear the front. They have the big one, right? Isn't the big one here?
I'm not gonna talk about it.
But the walkways can't be done with the tractor, I guess, was the thing, so. If we're not using it, then I don't care what happens with it.
What did Ben say? Did he want to keep it?
I didn't ask him. But if Ben uses it, then we should keep it there.
Right, because that back deck is tough to do, and.
You
bringing
could
up-
never pull that other one up. That new
Right, but the
one,
little
so-
one, because I have a little one like that, and it's great, you just pull it right up on your deck, and you just blow the deck right off, and you wheel it right back down, and
Okay.
it's,
So at this point, it's still in the shed? The old
and
one?
all you need is 10 minutes. Doesn't have to run for a long time. Any other discussion? Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained,
Page return it.
carries.
It looks pretty.
I was wondering what would happen. 500.
Trying to think what else.
I have a, certificate of insurance for the CHS Athletic Booster Club. I guess for their
You can probably just leave it in the mailbox and Sandy can grab it. Because they were approved contingent on this, correct?
I guess is that what,
I wasn't at
Yes.
that meeting.
I
They
didn't know
were-
if this was
they
just
were
something
approved
that
contingent
they
upon
wanted us to
that.
have on file, or if it was for
Yes.
September.
Yeah, so we'll just have it.
They were approved contingent upon
Okay.
that, yep.
Okay.
I can put it back in,
Yeah.
I'll get them off.
I'm actually going back there after the meeting anyway.
Steve can put it in there.
There you go. Now, this is I'm not. Beth Conley's request, about putting up a table at Winterfest.
It's probably more of a discussion for tomorrow night.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, okay. Wasn't sure if since
Yeah.
it's the rec commission /
Well, they have
Winterfest.
to, now, and I know we've had questions on this in the past, because that's a fund, she's raising funds for,
her marathon, yeah.
now, if somebody's gonna run a fundraiser on rec property, do they also have to go before the selectmen? Because it's raising money on town property.
Well, so let me give you another example of that. The Girl Scouts selling cookies at,
They have to get approval, to just do it at the dump, I know they have to come to the selectmen to get approval to do that.
Yep.
Oh, really? Wait, they have to get it.
but aren't we,
Actually, we've actually granted that access to Dave because he's the one that manages the facility. So I would say that you could defer the fact that the rec commission would be the one that would have that authority.
yeah, and
You're
I thought
technically
we,
a government authority in that.
Yep.
I thought we operated with a little bit more independence than other departments in town anyway.
It's definitely a gray line. I mean, it could definitely be taken control of by the selectmen if they really felt they needed to. Because it is town property and it is the sale of goods, or technically the sale of goods, but.
Yeah, because I guess technically we'd have to go through for all the concession stands.
Well, that's
and
what I
all
was
that.
thinking. I mean, because the concession stands go through, I mean, it's all governed by this. I mean, I don't see it as an issue.
Okay. So it'd be more that the subcommittee, being the Winterfest, would vote on something like this.
No, we would have to vote on
Oh,
this.
okay. So the rec commission would need to vote on this request. Okay, and we have another request, which you all saw, because it came into our areas. In short, she's participating in the 5K, and she would like to set up a table near the tent to fundraise for the Boston Marathon for the Dana-Farber charity.
So it's, does this fall under the same category, being that it's a fundraiser for a charity rather than someone like a,
Right, it's not personal.
for-profit?
Right.
Well, yeah, we wouldn't approve a fundraiser for a for-profit.
Well, I mean, what Steve was saying, if they're selling something, if they're selling goods on town property, that would require approval, whether it's by us or the selectmen. But this is fundraising for a nonprofit.
Right, it still needs our approval, like Girl Scout cookies is a nonprofit.
Okay, so we haven't technically done this before. We haven't had fundraisers
Right.
at Winterfest before.
Right, 'cause I mean,
Well, we did. We had Girl Scouts last year.
Okay, we did, right, yeah. So, I guess since we did have one organization,
Well, but last year we opened it up for that, and I think we decided this year we weren't doing that. So
I thought we weren't doing it for vendors, I didn't think we were.
right, that was the intent. Now,
Right.
I guess do we want to include? My concern, I guess, would be that if we have one person come in, then we have several others come in and say, I want to set something up too, and maybe they're all for worthy causes, and that's great, but do we have the space, can we accommodate them? Does that mean we have to rent another tent just to accommodate 5 tables of people who want to come in and set something up? So I worry about the precedent that we set by doing it. Not that I'm opposed to her being there, I just worry about someone else coming in and then someone
Right.
after that.
But if the precedent has already been set last year with Girl Scouts, I agree, as a committee, we agreed not to do vendors again. It wasn't worthwhile for them, it wasn't worthwhile for us, it just didn't seem like it. But, I don't know. It's a fundraise, if someone's willing to stand out there in the cold,
Well, now, she's not, if I read it correctly, she's not actually fundraising, she's just looking for sponsors to sign up that will that will sponsor her. She's not gonna have a thing saying there, give me money, she just wants the opportunity.
open to ask, I'm running the Boston Marathon for Dana-Farber Charity this year and was hoping to seek support in my fundraising by having a small table there. Could you please let me know whether that would be possible or not?
Right, so I read it as, it's like the penguin plunge, if somebody's going to do the penguin plunge, they're setting up a table to have people sign up to sponsor them for the penguin plunge. It's
Right,
not like-
$5, right,
Right.
$10.
So it's not legitimately paying her right there, it's, hey, I'm gonna pay you $1 a mile or
Yeah.
$2 a mile, whatever.
True.
Right, she's not selling something.
No,
there
she's
to
not selling, she's just standing there.
Raise money, right. Yeah, I don't wanna tell her no, because I think it would be good for her to be there doing that, except I just worry about unintended consequences.
Right, slippery slope.
I mean, is there a way to officially say, we're not gonna say yes, but we're not gonna kick you out either? Because we need to look at it, I think, a little further and see what we think, and, I mean, it's,
I really wish she had come in to see us, because that's what the question's for, is it something where she's looking for someone to sponsor her for a mile or?
Well, I can reach out to her and ask.
Because I would actually
but this is our
I would
last.
The problem is, you're right, this is our last meeting, yeah.
look at, setting up something at the 5K to say, hey, look, this person's going to run the Boston Marathon and is raising funds for Dana-Farber, and set something up, just a donation can or something that we have, that we can help her and do that, just like we're doing something for the food pantry, and, that kind of thing.
Sure.
But, I don't know the specifics of what she.
I would say maybe we can just defer this to the committee for this year until we.
There you go.
Okay, so we'll just defer it to the committee again, and maybe reach out to her and talk to it and discuss it at your committee meeting tomorrow night.
And then we can vote on it?
And so we'll grant authority. So I'll make a motion to give the committee the authority to make the decision in this one instance due to time constraints.
I'll second that.
Reach out to her for a decision confirmation on it.
Yeah, or just get some more
One
details
position.
at least.
Any other discussion or all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, carries 5-0-0.
How'd you do this? Did you drop off 2 keys? Are you here to pick me up? No, I mean,
Yes,
I can get a ride home.
We have.
We can drive me home.
you might wanna just wait a minute.
Maybe over? Okay.
Anybody else have any new business, old business?
I think that was it,
I will
right?
let you know that basketball did complete its round of background checks on all coaches, travel and rec. At $60 a pop, I think it was, 50-something bucks a pop.
Check and see what deal Russ got
Yeah,
for 20 years.
that's why I'm like, oh geez. But,
Who did basketball use?
I'm not sure.
Can you send me that if you find out?
Yeah.
Softball has a meeting on suggest that they look at doing something.
Well, I think I would definitely say go through sports sign up, because if there's people they've already done it through lacrosse or baseball or soccer,
And they're already registered, right?
it just signs it over, and there's no, I just feel bad for the one organization that the 2 years is up. It's like, it's always up during baseball. They're paying it all, and nobody else pays it.
I don't think there's anything else on the list. Winterfest is happening this weekend. guys coming out?
We're hoping it happens.
It's happening.
It's gonna be a busy next 3 days.
It's
It's not gonna
happening.
snow till Sunday.
It's not so much.
It's a
snow
flurry.
now.
By the way, can
Yes,
you make
the
a
cold.
motion to never put the ice rink up again?
It looks great.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
beautiful.
Okay, it's guaranteed. You put that ice rink up within a week, we get 2 or 3 feet of snow.
Exactly.
Every year.
That's true. I will give you that, yeah. Ever since we started Winterfest, I think we've
I make a
had.
motion that we put the ice rink up in November.
Well, because I remember the first 2 years, the first Winterfest, it was, I don't think we're gonna have enough, I don't think
Yep.
there's gonna be any snow for this thing.
Same thing.
And we
happened
got
last year.
dumped on.
Yeah.
And same thing last year, and
And
this
you were
one.
plowing the fields.
First
last
year was a week before, last year was 2 days before.
Yep,
We had 3 days before. We had
this
this.
is 3 weeks before.
Now we have two.
Blizzard.
All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay.
Carries 500. Good night, folks.
Thank
I
you.
have a question for you, Pete. Is your wife on, or are you on the Litchfield New Hampshire Moms?
I'm not.